when you physically feel as well as your Game Week 20 side has done. Hello there, hope you're having a great Thursday. What is up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today and the FPL Team Selection video for Game Week 20. In this video I go over how I've done in Game Week 20 and my plans for Game Week 21, all in the hopes that we can help you out with your FPL decisions. So if you do enjoy these videos, and apologies it's been a while since the last one, please do hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell for FPL. All of that really helps the channel. And also I apologise if the rest of this video is pretty short and not as heavily edited as usual, because right now I'm not feeling it 100%. I haven't been feeling 100% since about the weekend, and haven't watched as much football as I usually would have because I've been trying to get over whatever it is I've got. So the idea of sitting in front of the screen and editing a video for ages isn't the most appealing thing. But we move on. So going into Game Week 20, the fixtures look decent to be fair, and we did have a bad double Game Week 19. We did get around the 80 points mark, but compared to a lot of scores out there, it wasn't the greatest, and we saw about a 100k drop in rank. So we were hopeful going into this game week, but it hasn't turned out as great as I would have liked so far. We do still have two players though playing tomorrow, so fingers crossed. However, we had the great return from Okay, Gundogan, who did come in for the injured Kevin De Bruyne. Now, we looked at all sorts of Man City players for this, and we stuck with Gundogan because his underlying stats were just so good, and he looked dangerous every Man City game I'd watched prior, and he'd come through for me. Unfortunately, he did get substituted off early, however, which was a bit disappointing because I think he could have potentially got more in this game. Then Grealish also came through, although Grealish is a really hard player to watch because he often gets opportunities to get assists and goals, but has players around him that don't always put the chances away. So sometimes it can be a bit infuriating. So of course, when I did see him put the ball to target and target crossed it in for a Watkins goal, that was slightly annoying, but at least we got some points from him. And then Antonio and Cresswell, the West Ham boys. It's always nice for me to see West Ham players in my side and scoring points, so we're happy with that one, although Antonio could have had a much better score in the game week where I needed another big point scorer alongside Gundogan. The rest of the side, unfortunately for me, hasn't managed to return, including my captain of Bruno Fernandez, as Man United have lost to Sheffield United 2-1. Bit worried about Man United. They look very disjointed in the game, at least the parts of it that I have watched while I was trying to edit the graphics for this video. So a bit worried there. We're also worried with the players that aren't currently being shown as well, as being worried with Dallas and Bamford and Che Adams. So we're not in the greatest of places, and the problem I have is the free hit side I played for Blank Game20 seems to be the side I should have wildcarded to, and I'll be in a much better position right now than I currently am in. We do have Robertson and Salah to play still, but it is against Tottenham, and Liverpool haven't looked that great recently. Hopefully this is a game where they pick up their performance and return to the Liverpool that did so well previously, but we're not too hopeful off of their previous performances. And the bench isn't looking too healthy either, with Anguissa getting 1 point and then everyone else getting 0. So the issue right now is I literally am looking at this side thinking potentially there's anywhere between 5 to 7 players that I'm not currently happy with. So should I rush into a wild card, or should I slowly transfer into a team I am more content with? So far, with one game still to play in this game week, we're on 42 points. The average is 32 points. But I know anyone that had two Man City players is probably looking at a significant higher score than this. And also, just generally, I know the players that I'm surrounded by probably have high scores in this game week. So not too great a game week for me, even though we're 10 points above the average currently with two players to play. Overall points now just under 1,200. And we're on an overall rank of 273,292. And of course, these figures are brought to you by livefpl.net, as I'm filming the video before the FPL website has fully updated. So of course, they could be slightly out, but thank you to livefpl.net for the service that they provide. So we're looking at players at risk, and to be fair, there's a few players at risk, like I said, about 5 to 7 players, but the ones I'm really starting to get a bit itchy with and wanting to pull the trigger on a transfer are Patrick Bamford, who currently doesn't seem like the best option in that lead side. Rafinha seems like the best option to be going for if I wanted Leeds coverage. And he's no longer passing the eye test, and I've been unconvinced by recent Leeds performances. The issue I had with Bamford at the beginning of the season seems to be the issue I'm now coming to as well, is that goals could be scored by Leeds, but it doesn't necessarily have to go through Bamford. So do I really need to keep Bamford in my starting 11? The other player is Stuart Dallas. Leeds clean sheets seem a bit of a worry to me, and Man City defenders are a must, and he is someone that, with the money from De Bruyne, I could easily upgrade to a Man City defender, which would make my defence look significantly stronger than it currently looks. However, Dallas does seem like a viable option still with his out-of-position status, and of course he did almost score a goal in that Leeds game, so there is potential in Dallas, but there just seems to be stronger options out there. So guys, before we go on to my team selection for Gameweek 21, all the stats that you will see in potential transfers does come from Fantasy Football Hub. Here's a quick word from them. All the data on FPL Today is taken from the Fantasy Football Hub, with tools such as player comparison to choose the best players out of two options, Opta-Stats tables to see who could be hitting form soon and who will be amongst the goals, and a fixture ticker so you know who has not just the form but also the fixtures to match, and so much more, like articles and coverage of other fantasy football games. Ask yourself why you haven't joined the Fantasy Football Hub. It's just £2 a month to unlock your FPL potential. So if you want access to the stats and stuff like fixture tickers and articles, please do go check out Fantasy Football Hub. There'll be the top link in the description down below. And let's get on to my team for Game Week 21. So going into Game Week 21, we start off with Martinez with Southampton away. Now, Martinez has been very good and consistent goalkeeper for me. However, his recent performance in the fixture against Burnley didn't fill me with too much confidence. So we're keeping an eye on him in this Southampton game, although Southampton have also seemed to drop off the boil a little bit. So we're hopeful for clean sheets, but we're not expecting them. We also have Cresswell, who has been my most consistent defender, with potentially a tough fixture against Liverpool. Of course, who knows what Liverpool we're going to get, so Cresswell probably stays in there just in case we get a goal shy Liverpool, but we know it could go the other way. We have Robertson with West Ham away. Robertson is, of course, a player under risk. It'd be so easy to move him down to a Man City defender, and they seem to be getting clean sheets for fun. And, of course, Dallas, who was a player at risk, who we could upgrade to a Man City defender as well. We then look at the midfield, and Gundogan has done really well since I brought him in properly and not just on a free hit, with those 2 goals in the last fixture. And I'm almost tempted to put the captaincy armband on him because I'm not too confident with my other options. We have Bruno Fernandez with the captaincy armband on. The graphic was made before the Man United game against Sheffield United, so a little bit worried there. But I do think Sheffield United put in a very good defensive performance, and hopefully, as it's an away game, Fernandez can get back to getting those points in. Grealish with Southampton away, he's done enough to stay on the side after his goal in the game against Burnley. And then Salah, he is on his last legs. It'd be so easy to transfer him to someone like Son for the next game week. So Salah has his last addition with that Spurs game by the looks of it, and we could then potentially look elsewhere. And then up front, we're very happy with Antonio, so despite this being a tough fixture, and despite the points not raining in his recent fixture against Palace, he has done enough to stay on the side. But Bamford and Adams have really disappointed, so we're going to be keeping a really close eye on them. Bamford could, in fact, be gone before Game Week 21, but the most likely transfer in is going to be a Man City defender. And then on the bench does need some work as well. We have a couple of Fulham boys in there with a West Brom fixture. Potentially I could bring him in for that. Taylor with Chelsea. If Taylor comes back, Burnley, maybe we'll just keep him as a bench option. And it doesn't seem like a transfer that necessarily has to be made just yet. But again, he could be someone that I could upgrade to a Man City defender. Stones isn't too much of a jump from the likes of Taylor and Dallas. So we go to the potential transfers, and we are looking at the Man City defenders yet again. And I wish I'd just taken a -4 and brought in Cancelo. I think since about game week 10 or 11, I've been saying Cancelo is a great option, and then have just never brought him in, apart from that free hit side where he didn't actually get the job done in that one fixture. But Cancelo, Sheffield United at home in the next fixture, 5.9 million, easy downgrade from Robertson. Looks like one of the best options defensively in the game right now, because not only does he have the certainty of clean sheets in that Man City side, But 1 goal and 1 assist from 9 shots on goal, 4 on target, 5 from inside the box. But also the key passes has been there for the last 10 game weeks. 10 key passes, 3 big chances created with expected assists at 1.69. Everyone is expecting the big haul, even myself. I wish I'd pulled the trigger when I should have, instead of waiting till this game week. Cancelo is the most likely player to come into my side, but it could be a while before we get another explosive haul like we just saw. And I expect him to be one of the most transferred in players for this game week. We then have John Stones, who is a very viable option if you don't have the 6 million to bring in Cancelo. He's at 5.1 million and has got 2 goals from 4 shots on goal, 2 on target, 4 from inside the box, 3 of them being big chances, and a 1.26 expected goals. So that's good goal threat, but he doesn't really have any creativity, but you don't really expect that from centre-backs. And then Diaz is the nailed-on option, but he is the same price as Cancelo, and we just saw what Cancelo did recently, so I doubt many people are going to be looking at Diaz, but he is very nailed on. He's also had 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 big chances, and created 1 assist. So a lot of people have doubled up, and the fact that I didn't have one of these meant that I had a poor game week, despite the fact that I managed to bring in Ilkay Gundogan. Anyway guys, that is it for this video, so thank you so much for tuning in as always. If you have enjoyed again, please hit that like button, subscribe and hit that bell for FPL. And I'm probably going to take the rest of this week off from any FPL content, just to try and fully recover over whatever the hell it is I've got. But we should be back next week, and as always, I try to never miss a game week with at least one video, so here is the video for this game week. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.